a question here about your role as a manager and sort of your whole, role as a player, a goalie, an athlete, growing up, national team. Now here you are with daughters playing minor hockey. I had so many questions wanting to ask you about your daughter's minor hockey experience and what's going on there, and what could be better, and what might we do, uh, and how the heck did you manage to do you manage your schedule? So you take it anywhere you want, Sammy. I'm curious about your story in terms of where you are right now, doing what you're doing right now.
So let's start with the Squishmallows because I love talking about that team. Billy and I coached the Squishmallows, and the nice thing was that their games practices. The nice thing for my schedule was they were 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning every Saturday and Sunday. Um, Terrible, I think, for introducing people to hockey. If you're going to have this is house league. This is their first entry point, and put those kids at 10, 11. So it's really great for the parents. So they have like this amazing experience too. So needless to say, I was a little distraught that is where they have put that those new people. When Billy and I were selecting the team, selecting in house league, they rank players, and we had nothing to do with the ranking. We didn't want to even really do that. We just went through the stands and picked what we thought were the most chill parents, and anybody that looked like they were new to Canada. So we wanted to create that first touch point for hockey to be really great for these kids. And so I think in the end, we won only one game all year, but we did break a couple records. We scored one goal, and then when we scored 2 goals, the girls were so excited that we broke the record and scored 2 goals. We implemented a champion circle at the end of every game. I think that came from Hal. That was just incredible and so powerful for the girls. We played in 2 tournaments. I think things really changed when we went from half ice to full ice. I could really see that it became about the outliers at that point. It became about the kid that can just carry the puck and go and score. And we had a few of those, but every other team had a few of those. It was less about kids getting to touch the puck and doing things. But they did learn other things about positions and how to. We implemented a lot of Kim McCullough's things when she talked to the Sharks. So we did the train tracks down the middle. We tried to have animals that were on the hunt, so getting somebody in there, but having some support, those kind of things that I heard from a lot of the Sharks. So that was really great. I just think in the end, the team itself, when we were at these tournaments, would go to play places and all play together, and the parents would hang out. And at the end of the day, that's what hockey should be about. It was an incredible experience for me. My husband hated it because he hates waking up early, and he had a lot of terrible experience. I mean, he had a really great experience with the kids. Don't get me wrong. He loved the kids, but he had 3 rinks that were inaccessible for him, which is just never a fun experience. So he couldn't be on the bench with us because he couldn't get his wheelchair around. So that was sort of hard to see, but he filmed one of them, and it has changed sort of the landscape for accessibility here in Mississauga and Oakville. So that's good. He's had a lot of conversations from there. I think for him playing at the national team level, you think you're playing in the best ranks and you're treated in the best way. But the reality is for most kids with disabilities, when they come into the game, it's this experience. So things change there. But I think for these kids to see him on the ice and to see him, just participating with them and playing tag and all that in a sled, I think was so powerful. My assistant coach, she's nearing 70. This was her first time ever coaching, and she's always wanted to and never coached. And she started rec hockey when she was 50, and she's like, I'm not sure if I could do it. I said, you have, 27 years of experience. Like you're going to be better than the 7-year-olds. So I think you can do it. And so, I just think the whole thing was really powerful. And then the Squishmallows got to play between periods for the Toronto Six, and they thought that they had made the big time. Like they've never played in front of that many crowd. Most of them didn't watch the game. They got popcorn and cotton candy, and then getting the autographs from the girls at the end. I mean, that was so powerful. Seeing these girls look at the big girls, that was amazing. So overall, Wally, I'd say my experience for me, I absolutely loved it. I'm not sure I can convince my husband to do it again, just because of the experiences that he had and the early mornings. And my daughter came to like it. I would say she really loved her friends, and she had a lot of play dates afterwards. It was early to get, like, every parent on this call has been through that, where you're dressing the kid at 6:30 in the morning and trying to get them awake and to the rink. So she didn't love that part of it, but she certainly loved the tournaments, and that was really fun. So overall, I would so love to do it again. I mean, I just don't know that I can convince the rest of my family to do it again. So it took a lot of time away. If I was doing that separately from what I do with the Toronto Six, it would be hard to do in the same time. But I think, presidential duties, there's just a lot of work there. So anyways, first question is about the Squishmallows, which I love talking about them. Any questions on that, Wally? Oh, you're on mute.
You brought up so many interesting points that people don't think of. The starting time of a practice for kids, when it's most important to build a love for the experience, and what you've taken away from the Sharks and applied with your kids, the train tracks, the stuffed animals on the ice, and the using the animals in terms for forechecking, what kind of animals they were going to be, and then your husband's inaccessibility in some arenas, which is, it's just great that you're doing what you're doing, where you're doing it, and I hope he tries to stick with it, and I hope the kids continue to play hockey, but they may change, who knows. It's just that the adult environment that we create is going to determine whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience. And I know that anything, Sami, you're ever involved in is going to be a positive experience. And it's called win-win coaching and win-win rearing, parenting, managing, the whole thing. So
well, that's very kind, Wally. I feel like I learned from the best. I learned from you. I learned from this group, and there's lots of times where I check myself and I think, what would the Sharks do? So I appreciate all of you guys.